Thank you everyone for coming back to this, the second part of the AGM. My remarks are short and deliberately so because we've had the presentation by Owen and we have a rather longer period to discuss movement building coming up. But I think you'll find that my remarks bridge the two and talk about the things that are entirely relevant to what we heard from Owen and to what we will be discussing next in movement building. We are living in a period of unbridled militarism. Having been active in the peace and anti-war movement for more than 40 years, I can say it is unlike any period I have experienced before. The intensity and the dangers of the present period necessitate building the peace and anti-war movement as an effective opposition to this militarism. Averting another world war hangs in the balance. If you are tempted to think that this is an exaggeration, that things are bad but could never reach a tipping point of world war between nuclear armed powers, we need only look at Europe and the absolute refusal of NATO and much of Europe to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. Just yesterday, April 11th, Europe pledged $21 billion in military aid in Ukraine in order to continue the war, despite Ukraine's continuing loss of territory, soldiers, and equipment. It must be said that this is a war that could have been averted, and had there been the will to do so, it could have been. The position of Europe that the war will continue is one shared by Canada, and stands in contrast to the peace initiatives of Turkey, the African Union, Brazil, and China. Alongside the war between Russia and Ukraine, there is the continuing genocide in Gaza and Palestine. The scale of it has shocked the world. It has prompted some countries to act, but has been met with indifference or outright support by Europe, Canada, and the United States. The situation which confronts us has numerous causes. There is the political environment shaped by Cold War ideology and political leaders who are thoroughly bound to it. There's an entire stratum of society, academics, journalists, intellectuals, politicians who support it. There's a military-industrial complex that profits enormously from the spending on armaments, wars, and the preparation for future wars. There is the mass media, whether private or publicly funded, which provides the platform for the news stories or opinions that support the narrative for militarism and war, or obscures and just distorts the facts to justify the narrative. The current economic and political upheaval points to the growing danger that this will transform itself into military conflicts between the belligerent powers. In response, we must build a movement that effectively counters this enormous pressure for people to accept the situation. To some degree, this has taken place with opposition to Canada's complicity in the Gaza genocide. Thus, and it is only one example, you have the work taking place in the current election campaign to have voters reject those candidates who will not take a stand against what is happening in Gaza, Palestine, and Canada's active support for Israelis' actions. Opposition to the genocide in Gaza and the overall degradation experienced by Palestinians for 70+ years has awakened and politicized this generation of youth. They have protested Canada's complicity in it and withstood harassment and persecution for it. The present situation, while very difficult, shows that a movement can be organized, have its impact, and even achieve victories.